What makes an elite weightlifter elite? And why aren't you competing at the World Championships? Weightlifters, or athletes as a whole, or even just human beings, exist across multiple spectrums, various incrementally changing axes. One represents hair color, another intelligence, musculature, or in the very specific case of this video, there exists a bundle of x-axes that revolve around predicting weightlifting performance. Why is it that some of the people you train alongside reach a higher level than you when they seemingly do as much work as you do, and others can't maintain your rate of progress? The so-called lifelong beginners. Let's look into this bundle of spectrums, these predictors of weightlifting performance. Within this bundle, you have anthropometry, muscle fibers, genotypes, psychology. On a basic level, anthropometry means physical human measurements. The etymology of the word, as with many words, stems from ancient Greece. Anthropos meaning man, or more specifically human, and metron meaning measure, i.e. the measure of humans. A small portion of weightlifting success can be predicted from these types of measurements, like what percentage of your height is made up by your spine, how much of your leg length is your femur or thigh, or perhaps something like how does the ball and socket of your hip joint look? Is there space for deep hip flexion and internal rotation, or does impingement prevent what we might call an ass to grass save? There's the anthropometry that you can see, i.e. the weightlifter with a really long spine, but there's the internal attributes that you can't see that arguably play a greater role. Tendon insertion is extremely important. Imagine you reach for a door handle to open a relatively heavy door, but the door handle is only 3 inches away from the hinge of the door. You have to pull pretty hard on that door to open it. Someone else goes up to a similar looking door, but on this door, the handle is where you'd expect, 20 inches away from the hinge. They barely pull on the door and it opens. If you both use the same amount of force, your door might not open. And that's what's happening inside the human body. Great weightlifters, or strength athletes, have muscles that insert in ever so slightly different places. The difference of a centimeter makes an enormous difference in how the force translates into movement. Contracting your quad might extend your knee, but not as fast as the extension in an elite lifter, even when you exert similar amounts of force. A couple inches of placement from the hamstring tendon can reduce force output by 30%. That's a heck of a lot. So while we may think that the most obvious predictor of a weightlifter's success is their visible anthropometry, if we had a window beneath their skin and were fluent in tendon insertion points, we'd probably be saying, wow, sweet vastus lateralis insertion, dude. Another strand within the bundle would be muscle fiber type. In a study that looked at the percentage of different fiber types within elite weightlifters, elite being at least a national level competitor working up to international competitors, they saw that the majority of muscle fiber was type 2A, casually known by you and me as fast twitch. In fact, when compared with sprinters and bodybuilders, weightlifters still have way more fast twitch muscle fibers. Weightlifters have around 67% fast twitch fibers, as opposed to 52% in sprinters, 39% in bodybuilders, and 30% in soccer or football players. And these type 2A muscle fibers increase with training, so the higher the caliber of weightlifter, the more they probably started with, and the more they've gained over the years. I think it's safe to say that most of our favourite weightlifters have an extremely high percentage of type 2A muscle fibers, probably at least in the legs somewhere over 70%. Another genetic strand on the weightlifting spectrum looks at genotypes, and whether weightlifting success can be predicted by the specific genotypes that you're born with. Oftentimes we like to picture the most elite weightlifters as just more hardworking or dedicated than ourselves. But this can be extremely difficult to deal with as an intermediate weightlifter when weightlifting is your life and you put more effort into it than perhaps family or friends think you ought to. Oftentimes, the best weightlifters work the hardest because of a positive feedback loop. So I train hard, I do what my coach says, and I make progress. But what if their loop was actually more like ours? I train hard, I do what my coach says, and I just can't get above a 110 kilo snatch. So I train less, I take up skateboarding on the side, and now I'll never snatch 110 kilos because I just broke my knee attempting a sweet kickflip. This is often why so many elite weightlifters believe in God. Everything seems to go right for them, and so they look at what they believe is a correlation existing between wishing every night to become a champion and becoming a champion, and they induce divine intervention. But what if they didn't become a champion? Would they still believe that their career was divinely inspired? A genetic study of 53 elite weightlifters versus 100 sub-elite weightlifters showed that there tend to be 4 alleles that were positively associated with weightlifting performance. I won't read them out, but here they are on screen. Whereas the sub-elite weightlifters only had 1 allele that correlated in any significantly positive way with weightlifting performance. So does that mean that they were just born with it? Yeah, pretty much. And then they worked extremely hard. No doubt went through many physical and mental hardships, did the unthinkable and came out on top. But it's worth acknowledging that the best were born with something that most of us weren't. As you all know, it's much easier to train hard when training's going well. Mindset, or mental toughness as it's referred to in literature, also is a predictor of success. Most likely mental toughness is derived both from nurture but also nature, where you're born with a certain amount of it and then life circumstances during your developing years affect how much more you have. Wherever it comes from, you're going to need it to be an elite level weightlifter. A study with elite Egyptian weightlifters compared to non-elite weightlifters showed a staggering double score in mental toughness exhibited in the elite level weightlifters. And this was reflected among the men and women, although the absolute values from elite men were slightly higher than in the women. This probably, at least in my mind, shows that upbringing, or nurture, does indeed play a role in mental toughness. Elite weightlifters scored double in almost all 4 measures, which were competitive desire, focus, resiliency, and self-confidence. Who would have thought that enjoying competition, being focused, resilient, and supremely confident would predict sporting success? Other lifestyle factors are important too, like the fact that the average age of someone who won a medal in Tokyo was 26.1, for both men and women. Not combined, well, yes, also combined, but even when you separate men and women out and average out their ages, then 26.1 is the best time to win a medal at the Olympics in weightlifting. Where were you born? When were you born? How close to a gym do you live? All of these things are big predictors in your success in weightlifting. Most of you listening who compete in weightlifting probably were born in a country that has weightlifting gyms, and you live near one. Just as elite weightlifters may not consider their fortune when it comes down to tendon insertions, you probably disregard your fortune in living near a gym or being able to afford one. You are already beating everyone who doesn't have access to a platform. You're doing pretty well when you put it like that. Most people in the world cannot snatch as much as you, because they've never even heard of one. We all tick off a certain number of boxes that predict success in our sport. Maybe you tick 30% of them, maybe 60% of them. Those that tick 90% of them compete in Colombia at the World Championships, December 5th to 16th, and you can watch these absolute specimens battle it out to decide who are the best weightlifters on earth. You might not be able to compete with them, but you can watch them. It's available live and on demand at Weightlifting House. And also, I want to shout out Alex from Evidence Strong. She's a PhD and provides some of the most digestible bits of research for people like me and you to read. Go and follow Evidence Strong on Instagram, and if you like knowing cool things like how much can a 1-hour power nap help improve weightlifting performance, then show her some support on Patreon, and make sure you like and subscribe.